work as a strategic partner for various state and central government departments. When we talk about education, we must concentrate on both the parts of the education, be it practical knowledge or the theoretical knowledge. One guy came, he said, "Would you tell me what is the difference between ghee and oil?" I said, "No." So he said, "It's very simple. Ghee starts from G and oil starts from O." I always think the challenges are the moments where actually you get a chance to learn something more in your life. Revolution of technology, I would say. The Google, Gmail, mobile phones, they came in our generation.
So today we welcome Mr. Vikas Sharma to our show Amazing Mentor. Mr. Vikas plays many roles in his day-to-day professional life. He is the president H2 Life Foundation. He is also editor, business and policy at Bharat Khabar, National Executive Member of Newspaper Association of India, and member of Expert Forum of Corporate Law Journal. So it's a pleasure to have you on our show, Mr. Vikas. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. And first and foremost, I would like to thank you for giving this opportunity and to your team for coming up with a superb platform like this. It's certainly a need of an hour. And I think with the unmatched experience and young influencer like you, having such sort of a platform will certainly be helpful for many youths of our country. As you know that India is a youth country, the youngest country amongst the youngest country in the nation, in the globe. And we are having more than 65% of population less than 35 years of age. So certainly such sort of a platforms are indeed needed.
How is your professional journey till date?
I talk about the profession. It's been almost 2 decades of journey. My present role, I am heading the think tank. It's a not-for-profit organization, and with the name Center for Strategy and Leadership, it's a New Delhi-based organization wherein, we work as a strategic partner for various state and central government departments. We develop the strategies to achieve their vision and mission, and also implement those strategies on the ground. And when I talk about my journey, so it's almost 2 decades of experience that I'm carrying along. And during this 2 decades, I have worked in many roles with the various central and state government departments, like advisor in the Ministry of IT, Corporate Affairs, Telecom, wherein I get a chance to learn and work on the fields and participate in the policy making for our country.
So how do you feel when you participate in policy making and you are like a decision maker in this whole process?
So certainly it's unprecedented learning when I talk about working with policymakers, working on various policies, working with various departments of state and central governments both. So it is certainly, I would say, an eye-opener. And before that, because if I talk about experiences, begin from my college days. When we were in school, we have just 2 topics to discuss. One is the education, second is sports, and obviously about, somebody's girlfriend or a boyfriend. So that was actually the limitation of the thoughts. But yes, when you come to the college, you will have the larger vision. You start talking about the politics, you start talking about the policies, you talk about global vision. So, you enter into a new set of thoughts. We got to know about the policies, what sort of a policies government should have, what are the policies we presently are existing, and what would be the vision of a youth, what would be the vision, because obviously when we are in a college, we are setting a platform for us to enter in the professional world. So the question comes, what sort of a platform that you want when you enter? What is your vision? What actually the career that you choose, which area that you choose? So actually, this is the area, the college days, when you actually start thinking about all such things. We also thought about it. We had a lot of discussions on various platforms within college, whether be it discussions, whether be it other engaging platforms and all. So therein actually we got the picture that, out of discussions, and when my college mates and faculties and the people actually, the who's who used to come to our colleges for sessions, for giving lectures and all. So the picture that we have created in mind, I would say that was only the 10% of the real picture. And when actually I, experience on the ground, on the field, the reality, that was completely different. That whatever we have learned and whatever we got to know, when I talk about experience, so certainly that was when I started my career, when I started my professional career. So that was simply unprecedented, simply different. But yes, it was a good journey so far. I have learned a lot, got a chance to work with the senior leaders, with the senior people of across sectors of our country and globally. Still learning up, still try to coping up. It's I would say I am blessed in that way, and journey so far I have, it's very much satisfactory for me.
So as far as education in India is concerned, the practical knowledge is too less and the theoretical knowledge is too vast. So as you are a policy maker also and you will give advice to the government in shaping out the policies, so what would be your advice to the government as far as education is concerned? Should we add more practical knowledge to our courses and should we reduce the theoretical knowledge to in our courses?
Gaurav, I have a strong instinct about this, that certainly I would say that we have to segregate education in two parts. One is practical and one is theoretical. And many a times it is noticed that your practical knowledge may be like, of the highest level, a person is securing highest marks in the theoretical examinations and papers. But when that person will come onto the field, he'll face many challenges. And maybe he is not able to cope up at the level of passing marks when that comes to the practical knowledge. When we talk about education, we must concentrate on both the parts of the education, be it practical knowledge or the theoretical knowledge. The government of Haryana a few years back opened a skill university with the name Shri Vishwakarma Skill University. So they are following the two-way education process. So they call it earn while learn. They mean that there are two forms of education process that they are providing. So what they are doing, that they are providing in-house training, which is obviously the theoretical training, and then there will be the training in the concerned organization. For an example, let's suppose somebody wants to have education in the automobile sector. So they provide in-house training to them, the theoretical training in the institution, in the university, and that person, that student will go then to the, let's suppose, organization Hero Honda or Maruti or some concerned organization, wherein actually he'll have the practical training. So that's how after 2 years or 3 years or whatever the duration of the course, when he go into the field, he'll be carrying two experiences. One, theoretical, and also while working in the organization, the practical knowledge as well. When they go and professionally work with an organization, that would certainly very, very helpful, I would say.
So what's your opinion about on online education going on right now?
Well, online education for sure. This is one of the occurrence, I would say, one of the areas where actually everybody focused in the time of this COVID pandemic. Yes, this is because obviously nobody had any other option. We had to opt out for something, for interactions, for education purposes, to interact officially. So we need a platform. So online platform was always there. It's not like, obviously there is now the traffic is much more and more people are getting comfortable in using it. But yes, online platform was always there. And there was a case study that global institutions, be it Harvard, be it Wharton, be it London School of Economics, so everybody, every leading institution, they are so many years, they are providing all their course curriculum online. And anybody wants to have a course, anybody wants to join any course, the online platform was always available. So it wasn't like that online thing is new to our world or new to us. It was always there. But yes, now the adaptation is more. I think there are some advantages and disadvantages of all the platforms. Likewise, online platform does have some plus or minuses, but yes, I would say on the whole, it is a good platform, and I think it saves time, and that's how we can actually connect any part of the world. So I believe that the adaptation of technology is always good.
So how did your professional journey started?
When you said started, it took me a flash and took me to the past. My first job was started when one of my friends took a project wherein actually he wanted to market a product. So that was a brand of a ghee and oil. So he said, now I need people who will go to the market, put a stall there, and whosoever will come to your stall, or you have to attract people to your stall and tell them that this is the product I have, and this is the good oil, how it's better than other oil available in the market, other ghee available in the market. And I also allotted a place, one of the prominent markets in the New Delhi area. So I put a stand there, and and I kept all the oils and the ghee, etc. So for the first day, I was trying to hide myself. So I wore a cap, and it was winter's day, so the muffler was there. So I was trying that people would not recognize me. But one day gone, then everybody was sharing what business they have generated in that one day. I generated zero business. So So I thought this is very bad. And what I have learned from my father, he always tells me that, whatever you do with the passion. That learning was in my mind. So I thought the next day, like, why I'm not performing, why I'm hiding. From the next day, tried putting my best efforts, calling people, attracting them, telling them, like, this is the best ABC part about the oil, the ghee and all. And after 2 or 3 days, I was generating the maximum business out of all the group. So that was sort of at that point of a time, a big achievement. Yes, I am able to do that particular thing as well. Some gentleman came, I still remember. So he told me that, do you know that when you want to cook puris, so you can cook puri in oil or ghee? I said, I don't know. So they said, then how come you are selling oil and ghee? And somebody cracked joke as well. One guy came, he said, would you tell me what is the difference between ghee and oil? I said, no. So he said, it's very simple. Ghee starts from G and oil starts from O. I mean, that was altogether a very different experience. But yes, that was the first job, first professional starting of my career.
What was your first income?
I'm not remembering precisely, but maybe 100 rupees or 50 rupees per day I was getting. So it was a 7-day job. That was like 15 to 7. That would the first income of mine.
So when did you get into government sector?
I started my career in, I think, 2002. My background is from IT. So I did a course in IT from Tata Institute. And then I got a project. So wherein there is an institution of government of IT which was doing a project to basically all the transport offices of the country. So there was a project that it will consolidate it and it will be interlinked all the transport offices of the country. So that was a project which actually I joined as an intern and I worked under the Ministry of IT, Government of India for that particular project. So that was the first, I would say, after completing my course, that was the first job that I would get as an intern.
What all challenges do you face in your day-to-day professional life?
I call it not challenges, but yes, these are the moments where actually you will learn something else. You will learn more, because in life, wherever you are and wherever you will be, you to fit in and obviously to perform your duties and responsibilities, you need to develop that wisdom and that understanding. And I think these people call it challenges. I call it the moments where actually you learn, because every challenge will give you a learning. And that learning will be there with you for the lifetime. I don't believe in the word challenges. I always think the challenges are the moments where actually you get a chance to learn something more in your life.
So as you told that your father was your first mentor. Now when you gave your first income to your father or mother, how was that feeling?
That was certainly because actually my father was in Delhi police. The defense aura and the strictness and everything was there. When I talk about friends and when I notice the present generation. So here the father, like in present generation, the father and son relation is like a friend, is more like a friend. You can share anything. You want to talk about games, movies, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, vacations, anything you can share. But the generation, like when we talk about our generation, the things wouldn't be like this. It was something different. So there was very less interaction, and specifically about education. And I mean, there was a very less interaction with the father. But yes, with the mother, like you were open, discussing each and everything. So when I told my father that, firstly, I didn't share with my father that I'm doing that sort of a job. I'm going to a market selling ghee or oil. But when actually I achieved something that I generated the maximum business, so I was looking for someone, because that gave me the feeling, yes, I can also perform. I can also do something in life. So if I would get a chance, I can also perform. So I wanted to share this thing with my family that, I can also perform whenever I get a chance, and this is what I got a chance and this is my performance was. So I shared with my mom that was a thing like I was doing for 7 days. And this is like I generated the maximum business for which I got this small money, but this is like I own that money, this is my first earning. So then I shared with my sisters, and then my mother shared this thing with my father that, this is what he has done. So my father was like, I think that I still remember that smile, and he pat on my shoulder that really good. And obviously just have this feeling that work is never, again, I'm telling you that no work is small, no work is big. It's the way that, that your passion and your vision, you can always make the small big. And obviously The big can also be small if you don't have a vision and don't have the right strategies for that.
So that means the amount of role which you are playing right now in your profession, वो घी बेचा था जो आपने, उससे जो कॉन्फिडेंस आया था, उसकी वजह से इतने सारे आप रोल कर पा रहे हो अभी लाइफ में. So you are an president, you are an editor, you are a member, and so on. So how do you manage these amount of roles in your life?
नहीं, बिल्कुल गौरव, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. जब आप सक्सेस पा लेते हैं तो यू विल गेट दैट कॉन्फिडेंस दैट यस यू कैन डू मच मोर, एंड आप बहुत सारी नई चीजों को ट्राई भी करते हो, बहुत सारी नई चीजों के लिए जाते भी हो, एक्सप्लोर करते हो. आप लाइफ के अंदर हमेशा सक्सेस ही पाते हैं बिकॉज समटाइम्स, एंड आई थिंक if I talk about the experience I got from the field by noticing everyone's life, be it a friend, be it my colleagues, my seniors, my juniors, that the ratio of success and challenges are there is a huge difference of proportion. So the success, I would say, is having always a leg proportion, and the challenges are always having the maximum proportion. Because this is my belief, though it's a bit spiritual, that because you have to learn a lot in life, so Almighty will give you more challenges so that you can learn more. Whenever there is a success, that will give you a confidence, a boost to do more, learn more, explore more. But certainly challenges will actually give you an opportunity to have that wisdom and have that understanding and have that capability to handle the responsibility what you are having and you will have in the future. You have many people, your colleagues, your team, your supporters, your family, your mentors, that are actually the driving force behind you. I think I am blessed enough to have such sort of a set of people, be it in my family, my friends, my colleagues. So that gave me that strength and that support that I am able to wear that many feathers in my cap.
So as we can see, that there are two types of entrepreneurs right now. People who have directly started their company right after their graduation, and some are who have first gained experience and then started their journey as an entrepreneur. So what would be your suggestion? Should a person start his entrepreneur journey right after graduation, or first he should gain some experience and then start his journey?
So Gaurav, actually there is one has to understand one scenario that when we talk about our generation, like when we started our career almost 2 decades back, the situation was pretty different because India is a developing nation. And when we talk about our time, we noticed the introduction of mobiles in the market. The internet wasn't there. We actually noticed that revolution of technology, I would say. The Google, Gmail, mobile phones, they came in our generation. In the era of technology, we talk about startups. India has become the second largest platform in the world, which is having the maximum number of startups in our country. And certainly we have startups which is having impressive journey. So they are making the name globally.
So you play many roles. So what all lesson would you like to share, or what all learning would you like to share with our viewers?
I want to share with the youth of our country, there is no shortcut to success and there is no substitute of hard work. We have to work hard, whatever like our dreams, whatever our goals in our mind, achieve those goals and dreams in our life. And obviously, we have to put our best effort in achieving and following the path of their goals and dreams. This is, I would say, my mantra, and I want to share this mantra with the youth of our country that one has to follow this thing.
So tell us about your organization.
Center for Strategy and Leadership, we call it CSL in short. CSL is a not-for-profit organization, and we develop strategies for the government organizations to achieve their vision and mission. So what we do, like in step 1, we analyze the organization and come up with a white paper, what is the present situation or the position of the organization or a department or a government. And then secondly, just try to get an understanding that what is their vision, what they want to achieve. And then accordingly, on the basis of whatever the available resources, whatever their strengths are, and whatever their mission is, then we develop the strategy. So that will be the stepwise strategies. One, like how to fix up your existing, I would say, the leakages or your weaknesses, and parallelly how to make a strategy to achieve your vision. We will not end up making the strategy document for our clients, but yes, because what we believe when we started the organization, that making a strategy is one thing, but what about implementing on the grounds? So we ensure that whatever strategies we make for our client, we implement that on the ground as well. I am happy to share so far that we have worked with many government departments, and so far our journey is very much successful and satisfactory. And we got lot many with whomsoever we have worked and we are working, we are getting appreciations, and I am happy to share that from the very first day. I think this is, I think the endorsement of our work, that the client we got the very first day, till date we are having that client. So not even a single client of ours that actually we left and we left the journey in between and we are not working with. So when we joined the journey, since the very first day of starting our organization, we are still working with all those clients, and I would like to thank them as well, that they gave us that opportunity, and thanks to Almighty that yes, we are doing justice to whatever work we have given.
So is there any checklist young generation can follow while starting their career path?
It's very important to have a strategy in place, because if you go without strategy, and nowadays the thing is this, that you have many opportunities in the market, and obviously the competition is there. So one has to make the right strategy, that what you want to do in your career, what you want to opt in for your career, and what are the reason behind it. Let's suppose I would say that I want to become a cricketer, but first I want to have a strategy that how would I become a cricketer, what is my background. Challenges doesn't mean that yes, you will actually going on a wrong track, or might you will fail and all. There is nothing called failure in life. So what I believe, whether you win or you learn, challenges gives you a learning, so that as and when you are growing, you will developing the capabilities and the strength to answer all the queries and do your responsibility in a very best way. So one has to believe in the strategies, and thirdly, you have to implement this on the ground with the passion. Because if you don't have a zeal and passion and believe in your strategy, you will not achieve 100% in your life.
So the last one, what would be the one liner that defines you?
My mantra in life and my strategy in life is this, that do your best, do whatever the responsibility you get with a zeal and a passion, and believe what you are doing.
Thank you very much for your time. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Certainly one of the memorable moments I would get, and great interacting with you, and I wish all the luck for your platform. With such this is certainly a very useful platform especially for the youth of our country. Thank you so much for having it today. Thank you.